Right now, as you're listening to my voice, something incredible is happening. Your conscious mind is processing these words, analyzing them, maybe even judging them. But there's another mind operating beneath the surface, a mind that's been running the same programs since you were a child, a mind that's been sabotaging every attempt you've made to change your life. This hidden mind controls 95% of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And here's the shocking truth. It's still operating from the trauma programming installed by your narcissistic family. I'm about to reveal something that the self-help industry desperately doesn't want you to know. All those affirmations you've been repeating, all those positive thinking exercises, all those vision boards and manifestation techniques, they're not just ineffective for trauma survivors, they're actually making things worse. And I'm going to show you exactly why. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the real solution that's been hidden from you. 3 months ago, I discovered something that changed everything. I was lying in bed, doing my nightly inner work, when I realized that every time I tried to affirm something positive about myself, I could literally feel my body rejecting it. My stomach would clench, my chest would tighten, and this voice in my head would start screaming that I was lying to myself. But here's what was even more disturbing. Sometimes I wouldn't even get that far. I would start to say the affirmation, and suddenly my mind would just drift. I'd find myself scrolling through my phone, or thinking about something completely unrelated, or feeling this overwhelming urge to do anything else. It was like something inside me was actively steering me away from healing. If you've ever felt like you're fighting against yourself, like there's an invisible force sabotaging your progress, hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video and tell me in the comments below, what positive change have you been trying to make that keeps getting sabotaged? Because what I'm about to share will explain exactly why this happens and how to finally break free. Let me take you back to when you were 5 years old. Your brain was operating primarily in theta brainwave state, which is essentially a hypnotic trance. In this state, your subconscious mind was like a sponge, absorbing everything around you without any critical filter. Every message from your narcissistic parents, every emotional atmosphere in your home, every unspoken rule about what was safe and what was dangerous, it all got downloaded directly into your subconscious programming. Here's what's mind-blowing about this. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined, between what's helpful and what's harmful, between past and present. It simply runs the programs that were installed during those early years. So when your father screamed at you for expressing anger, your subconscious didn't just learn anger is dangerous, it learned my authentic expression threatens my survival. When your mother gave you the silent treatment for having needs, your subconscious didn't just learn my needs don't matter. It learned asking for what I want will result in abandonment. When you were praised for being the perfect, compliant child, your subconscious didn't just learn good behavior gets rewarded. It learned my worth depends on sacrificing my authenticity. These aren't just beliefs, they're survival programs running at the deepest level of your psyche. And here's the devastating part. They're still running today, decades later, sabotaging every attempt you make to create a different life. But here's where it gets really sinister. These programs don't just create resistance, they create what I call the zone out protocol. Have you ever noticed that when you're about to do something that could genuinely help you heal, suddenly you feel this overwhelming urge to distract yourself? You'll be about to meditate, and suddenly you remember something urgent you need to do. You'll be about to journal about your feelings, and suddenly you feel this crushing fatigue. You'll be about to set a boundary with someone, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank. This isn't lack of willpower. This isn't you being lazy or uncommitted. This is your subconscious mind actively protecting the trauma programming by keeping you in a state of perpetual numbness and distraction. It's like having a security system that goes off every time you get close to the truth about your wounds. And here's the part that's going to sound controversial, but I need you to stay with me. I believe there's something else at play here, something that operates beyond just psychological programming. During my darkest period, when I was doing deep inner work, I started to notice patterns that couldn't be explained by psychology alone. It was like there were forces actively working to keep me unconscious, to keep me distracted, to keep me from accessing my power. I'm talking about what I call energetic parasites, entities that feed off your life force, your creativity, your spiritual energy. These aren't metaphors. These aren't psychological concepts. These are actual energetic beings that attach to trauma wounds and have a vested interest in keeping you stuck, keeping you numb, keeping you from healing. Think about it. If you were an entity that fed off human suffering, what would be your greatest fear? It would be humans waking up, humans healing, humans reclaiming their power. So you would do everything possible to keep them distracted, to keep them scrolling through social media instead of doing inner work, to keep them binge-watching Netflix instead of facing their shadows, to keep them in perpetual cycles of addiction and numbness. This is why traditional therapy often fails. You can understand your childhood intellectually. You can have all the insights in the world. But if the subconscious programming hasn't changed, if the energetic parasites haven't been cleared, you'll keep recreating the same patterns. You'll keep attracting people who treat you the way your parents did. You'll keep sabotaging opportunities that could lead to real happiness. You'll keep feeling like you're not enough, no matter how much external validation you receive. But here's where it gets really insidious. The self-help industry has convinced millions of people that they can override decades of trauma programming with positive affirmations. They tell you to stand in front of a mirror and repeat, "I am worthy of love," when your subconscious mind has been programmed to believe that love equals danger. They tell you to visualize success when your subconscious mind has been programmed to believe that standing out leads to punishment. What happens when you try to force positive thoughts onto a traumatized subconscious? Your nervous system goes into conflict. Part of you wants to believe the affirmation, but a deeper part of you knows it's not safe. And if there are energetic parasites attached to your trauma wounds, they'll activate the zone out protocol. Suddenly you'll feel tired or distracted, or like you need to do something else. You'll find yourself reaching for your phone, or thinking about work, or feeling this overwhelming urge to escape from the present moment. This creates internal tension, anxiety, and often a backlash effect, where you end up feeling worse than before. It's like trying to install new software on a computer that's been infected with malware. The malware will fight back. It will corrupt the new programs. It will find ways to maintain control of the system. I learned this the hard way. For years, I tried every manifestation technique, every positive thinking method, every mindset hack, and for years, I kept hitting the same invisible wall. I would make progress for a while, then something would happen to pull me back into the old patterns. But more often than that, I would simply lose focus. I would start a healing practice and then just stop. Not because I consciously decided to stop, but because something would always come up to distract me, to pull my attention away from the work. I thought I was broken, that I was somehow immune to personal development. But the truth was, I was trying to plant flowers in soil that was still contaminated with the poison of my childhood programming. And there were energetic weeds actively choking out anything healthy that tried to grow. That's when I discovered the real science behind subconscious reprogramming. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research on the biology of belief revealed that the subconscious mind operates at a frequency of 40 Hz, while the conscious mind operates at 40 Hz. But here's the key: the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. It's like trying to steer a massive ship with a tiny rudder. But there's a way to access the subconscious mind directly, to bypass the conscious resistance and the energetic interference, and install new programming at the deepest level. It's called subliminal reprogramming, and it works by delivering messages below the threshold of conscious awareness, directly to the subconscious mind, while simultaneously clearing the energetic parasites that would normally sabotage the process. Here's how it works. When you're in certain brainwave states, particularly theta and delta, your subconscious mind becomes highly receptive to new programming. These are the same states you were in as a child when the original trauma programming was installed. But here's the crucial part. These are also the states where energetic parasites have the least influence over your consciousness. By using specific frequencies, binaural beats, and carefully crafted subliminal messages, you can literally rewrite the code that's been running your life. But you have to do it in a way that bypasses the zone-out protocol, that slips past the energetic guardians that have been keeping you stuck. But here's what most people get wrong about subliminal programming. They think they can just download some generic subliminal track from YouTube and expect miracles. That's like trying to perform surgery with a butter knife while parasites are actively working to sabotage the operation. Effective subliminal reprogramming requires precision, personalization, and an understanding of how trauma affects the subconscious mind and how energetic parasites interfere with the healing process. The subliminal messages need to be crafted specifically for trauma survivors. They need to address the core wounds, the survival programming, the identity distortions that were created in childhood, and they need to include energetic clearing protocols that neutralize the parasitic interference. Let me share with you the breakthrough technique that changed everything for me. I call it trauma-informed subliminal reprogramming, and it's based on 4 key principles that most subliminal programs completely ignore. First, you have to address the resistance. Your subconscious mind has been protecting you with these programs for decades. It's not going to give them up easily. Before you can install new programming, you have to acknowledge and honor the old programming. You have to thank your subconscious mind for trying to keep you safe, even though those strategies are no longer serving you. Second, you have to neutralize the zone-out protocol. This requires specific frequencies that not only calm the nervous system, but also create an energetic barrier against parasitic interference. These frequencies literally create a protective field around your consciousness while you're in the receptive state. Third, you have to work with your nervous system, not against it. Most subliminal programs try to force change, which triggers the nervous system's defense mechanisms and activates the parasitic sabotage protocols. But when you work with specific frequencies that naturally calm the nervous system and induce receptive brainwave states, the subconscious mind becomes open to new possibilities while the energetic parasites become dormant. Fourth, you have to address all levels of the trauma programming. It's not enough to just install positive beliefs. You have to address the emotional charge around the original wounds, the somatic patterns stored in the body, the spiritual disconnection that trauma creates, and the energetic attachments that have been feeding off these wounds. Here's what this looks like in practice. I create personalized subliminal tracks that begin with energetic clearing frequencies. These frequencies literally dissolve the parasitic attachments and create a clean energetic space for healing. Then, nervous system regulation frequencies tune your brainwaves to the optimal state for subconscious reprogramming while maintaining the protective barrier against interference. While you're in this receptive and protected state, carefully crafted messages are delivered that specifically address your unique trauma patterns. But these aren't generic positive affirmations. These are precision, targeted messages that speak directly to the wounded parts of your psyche while simultaneously strengthening your energetic boundaries. Instead of, "I am worthy of love," which your subconscious mind will reject and the parasites will sabotage, the message might be, "It's safe for me to receive love now," combined with energetic clearing commands that dissolve any attachments feeding off your unworthiness wounds. The difference is subtle but profound. The first message contradicts your existing programming and triggers the zone-out protocol. The second message acknowledges your current state while gently opening the door to new possibilities and actively clearing the energetic interference that would normally sabotage your progress. I've been using this technique for the past 2 years, and the results have been nothing short of miraculous. Patterns that I couldn't shift with years of therapy began dissolving within weeks. Limiting beliefs that had controlled my life for decades simply evaporated. But more importantly, the constant mental fog, the perpetual distractibility, the overwhelming urge to zone out whenever I tried to do healing work, all of that began to clear. For the first time in my life, I could sit with difficult emotions without immediately reaching for a distraction. I could do inner work without feeling like I was fighting against an invisible force. I could make positive changes without having them mysteriously sabotaged by circumstances beyond my control. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't about bypassing the healing process or avoiding the difficult emotions. Subliminal reprogramming is a tool that supports the deeper work of trauma recovery while clearing the energetic interference that normally sabotages that work. The key is consistency and precision. Your subconscious mind was programmed through repetition over many years, and the energetic parasites have had decades to establish their feeding patterns. To reprogram the mind and clear the parasites, you need to provide consistent, repeated exposure to new messages and clearing frequencies over time. I want you to try something right now. Close your eyes and repeat this affirmation. I deserve to be happy. Notice what happens in your body. Do you feel expansion and warmth? Or do you feel contraction and resistance? But more importantly, notice what happens in your mind. Do you stay focused on the affirmation? Or does your attention start to drift? Do you suddenly think about something else you need to do? Do you feel an overwhelming urge to check your phone or distract yourself in some way? If you feel resistance in your body, that's your subconscious mind rejecting the message because it contradicts your existing programming. But if your mind starts to zone out or drift, that's the parasitic interference kicking in, trying to pull you away from anything that could genuinely help you heal. Now, try this instead. I'm learning that it's safe for me to experience moments of happiness, and I clear any energetic interference that would sabotage my healing. Notice the difference. This message doesn't contradict your existing programming. It simply opens the door to new possibilities while actively addressing the parasitic sabotage. Your subconscious mind isn't your enemy, and neither is your tendency to zone out or get distracted. These are protection mechanisms that served you in the past. But those protection mechanisms that served you as a child are now limiting you as an adult. And the energetic parasites that may have attached to your trauma wounds have their own agenda that doesn't serve your highest good. With the right approach, with trauma-informed subliminal reprogramming that addresses both the psychological programming and the energetic interference, you can honor the past while creating a new future. You can clear the parasitic attachments while healing the wounds they've been feeding off. You can reprogram your subconscious mind while maintaining your energetic sovereignty. In my next video, I'm going to show you how all of this fits together into what I call the alchemical process, the complete transformation system that turns your deepest wounds into your greatest source of power. We're going to explore how subliminal reprogramming works together with shadow work, somatic healing, and spiritual practice to create total transformation while maintaining protection against energetic interference. But for now, I want you to start paying attention to the programs running in your subconscious mind and the patterns of distraction and zone out that keep you from healing. Notice the automatic thoughts that arise when you think about success, love, happiness, or freedom. Notice the body sensations that accompany these thoughts. But also notice when your mind starts to drift, when you feel the urge to distract yourself, when you suddenly lose focus on anything that could genuinely help you grow. The programming that was installed in your childhood doesn't have to control your future, and the energetic parasites that may have attached to your wounds don't have to drain your life force forever. With the right tools, with the right approach, with the willingness to go deep and do the real work, while maintaining your energetic boundaries. You can literally rewrite the code of your life and reclaim your power from anything that's been feeding off your suffering. That transformation starts with understanding that your subconscious mind isn't broken. Your tendency to zone out isn't a character flaw. And your healing journey isn't just about psychology. It's about reclaiming your complete sovereignty on every level. It's time for an upgrade. And it's time to clear the interference that's been keeping you from accessing your full potential.